Okay, I'm Dave Manel. I'm product, I mean, Director of Product Development here at AccountantsWorld. And today's webinar is going to be entitled New Opportunities with Accounting Power. Mainly what I'm going to be showing is a few new things we've added to the program. A lot dealing with the ways you can enter credit card information. And I'm also going to go over at the end a little bit with this, that we have two new products with Accounting Power. Okay, let's get going. The first thing I want to show is a couple of bank feed enhancements. We've changed the way that the bank feeds work, and hopefully this will make them more successful as far as updating for everybody. First of all, what we do now is when you change a client, if the client you're changing to is a client who has bank feeds signed up for them, we actually go out and do the update of the bank information right at that point. And now this is an enhancement. It works a lot better for most people, although it will slow down the entry, which is the reason why I'm mentioning it at this point, because you don't really need to know what's going on behind the scenes. But when you select that client, it does slow down the select client for that person. It only does it the very first time you select that client in a day, so it doesn't do it any other times. So it shouldn't really slow people down too much, but the first time you select the client, it does do that. The second thing that we've done, and we're also working on a few other things to make it better, is when something goes wrong with the bank feed, because banks have become much more stringent and tight with logging in and things of that nature. Some people do experience errors with the bank feeds. And so if when you selected the client and now you're going in to do a bank feed for the client, if there are any errors that occurred, there'll be a little link over here on the bank feeds and upload e-statement screen. So when you click on that link, it's going to bring up a list of all the banks that you have for that particular client, and it's going to say bank feeds, failed errors. And we have various errors that are sent back. Usually they're sent back from the various banks. It could be the account is locked, the account requires the security questions to be set up. Maybe somebody has to answer what high school they went to or who their first pet was or something. Uh, the extractor successfully canceled. That just means that somebody started it and for whatever reason they canceled. Maybe invalid user ID and a few different things. And I have noticed we've had this change just a little bit now, and I've noticed the errors are way down. And also, it should make it easier to correct it if something happens for someone. So the next step is if you were to get an error, and maybe it was password or something, you might want to go to the bank feed screen where the regular bank list, and then click on the bank feeds link, and you could send an email to your client so that they need to update their password information or something of that nature. And although we still haven't done this, but it's our thought or our plans is we'll have special things maybe based upon those errors and make it easier right from the error to select and have the message go to your client. So that's what should make the bank feeds even better for people. The next thing is the credit card screen enhancements. We've really changed the way the credit card screen works dramatically. If you're just using write-up for a client, you still can continue to use write-up and just do the credit card entry that way. But there's a lot of features here for your bookkeeping clients that really are powerful. But Before I really get into it, I guess I'll go into a few steps that what you need to do in order to be doing the credit card screen use. First of all, you have to set up a category of accounts payable credit card in order for any of this to work. So if it's not already set up, you go to company accounts, click on the line, and where it comes to the category, you would select accounts payable credit card. So in order for any of this to work, that needs to be done. The next step would be to actually make entries. So you would go to expenses, credit card, which is the same location it used to be. You would add, I'm going to show how to add a new bill. You don't really, if you have an existing bill, you don't have to add the new one. But you come here, you select which bank credit card it's for. Click on add, select which one. Screen will come up. You enter, you select which credit card it is, the statement date, and the due date. And when you're making entries, you can't make an entry after the statement date that you enter here. So that way, if you're filling out information for a statement of May 15th, you can't accidentally enter May 18th or something of that nature. So once it's set up, the entry has changed from what it used to be. It used to be more of a going crossways, and we've changed it to be more like the write-up entry screen, which makes for a faster entry, I believe. And there's also the powerful addition of being able to attach documents to it. So as you can see, I already entered two things here, ABC Trucking, Bakersfield Oil Supplies. But now I'm on a third one, 3J Software. And I happen to have an invoice that the client sent to me for that credit card entry that they want to pay by credit card. So what I can do, previously you would have to set up the invoice in bill entry, and then if that would be if you wanted an attachment with it. So you'd have to set it up in bill entry, and then you would come to this screen, and there were a few different steps involved. But now, right from the credit card entry screen, you'll be able to click on attach. When you click on attach, you would have come to a little window where you select which document you want to upload. And in this case, I uploaded an invoice for 3J Software. I can view the invoice, I can make the entries from it, and then I just go right ahead. Now you'll see that the entry is here, and also you see which ones have the attachments with them. And this also works out very good. I come back a year later, and I'm looking for, let's say it's a year from now, we're in 2019, but I'm wondering, well, what in the world was this invoice for 3J Software? It's right here. I just click on the line, and then I would click view, and I'd be able to view the invoice. And it's saved there in the cloud cabinet for you at all times. So I think that is a very powerful addition for the credit card entry. I know internally we're using it here and very happy with how it works. The next step would be, well, I want to pay the credit card bill. This is pretty much the same as it was before, but let me go through the steps. What you do, simply from this screen, you click on pay. A little pop-up will come up here. It'll show the current balance. It'll show which account you're paying out of. You can change it if you wish. The amount you want to pay. You can choose to enter to pay the whole amount or whatever you would want, and also enter the date of payment. Now, check number. If I'm going to just record a payment, I would enter the check number here. If I'm simply approving payments, I won't enter the check number because that'll be taken care of when I actually pay the bill if I'm from the check writing screen. So in this case, I'm going to record the I'm going to approve the payment, and then that would take me directly to banking check writing. Recording a payment would be if I know the payment was already made manually and I'm just recording it here, then I could also enter an older date. I can enter check number and things of that nature. But I decided to approve the payment. And what that does, it now takes me to the check printing screen. And this check would be here the same as any other check that I set up as an invoice and was going to pay later, or that I wrote from the banking check writing screen and decided to pay later. One thing though, in order for this to properly work, you need to set up who the vendor is for that particular credit card. And the way you do that is you go to Company, Bank and Credit Card Setup, and then you'll go to the vendor area, and there'll be a drop down there which will list all of your vendors. So you would have to add your credit card company as a vendor. I mean your client's credit card company as a vendor. If it's not there, you could add the vendor on the fly simply by clicking on Add Vendor, and then we know who to be making those payments to. So that is a very important step on the credit card payments. Okay, next thing I want to do is paying invoices by credit card. Now, we had a system set up for the way you would do it before, and we've made some changes which I think make it much easier than it used to be. What you do is you enter the invoice the same as you would enter any other invoice if you want to be keeping track of invoices. Previously, we had a box in here that would say pay by credit card. And then what would happen is later on, you would have to go to that credit card entry screen and make the payment there. But what we decided was it makes much more sense that what you do is when you're paying any of your bills, you decide at that point how you want to pay them. And I'll show you what you do. First of all, you just enter the invoice, Hoscart right here, $225. He's in the account is for collections. And you enter all the invoices. Then from there, you go to expenses, pay bills. Once you get to the expenses, pay bills screen, from here, you simply select how you want to pay the bills. So in this case, right now, when I come in, it's already set up that they're being paid by cash, like printing. But all I do is I click on the drop down, and then I will select the credit card that I want to pay it by. And this is tied to, you have to have that category of accounts payable credit card set up, and it has to be linked to the credit card on the bank credit card screen. Now you notice over here, not all of the options are available anymore, because now at this point, all you're doing is you're saying it's going to be paid by a credit card. You're not actually sending the money, or no money is at this point being sent by you or by your clients. So you have the ability to just record the thing. So what you do is you'll come in here, you select which ones you want to pay, Bakersfield Oil Supplies, Montebello Supplies Emporium. You could click here if you were going to pay everything by credit card. Click here and then maybe uncheck one or two of them. If you have 30 of them, but you only want 25 to be by credit card, that's the best way. So you decide which ones you want to do. You simply click on record, and then an information window comes up. You can enter what you want as information about it, and also what date you want it to show up as being paid. And then you simply click on save. Now, not too much needs to be said about the credit card journal entries, except for the fact that they're all done automatically for you. I mean, that's to be expected, but the Montebello Supplies Emporium, here's where it was set up initially. The accounts payable was $2,500. Now, when you say that it's going to be paid by a credit card, now it's no longer a $2,500 accounts payable to Montebello Supplies Emporium, because as far as you're concerned, that payable is now gone. Now, there is now a new payable to credit card payable. But the important point is here, it's all done automatically for you. But now let's say that I was on that screen, pay by credit card, and as sometimes we will do, I accidentally selected credit card, but really I wanted to pay by check or just didn't want to pay yet, or whatever the reason. So how do you correct those errors? You go to expenses, vendors, and from expenses, vendors, you're going to go into bill payments. And from bill payments, you'll select a credit card. So if I didn't want to pay the $2,500 to Montebello Supplies Emporium by credit card, I would simply click on the link right here. A little pop-up will come up, and then I can choose to delete it. And that'll put it back on the list of payments to be made. Okay, so that pretty much shows those changes to the credit card screen. I think they can make it much easier to use and certainly more powerful with the ability to have the attachments to all the entries. Okay, we did make one, it's been a few months now, but I haven't done a webinar in a few months, but we did make one major change for financial statements, and that is the 12-month trailing income statement. So what you can do now is you select the period, you select trailing 12 months, and then it will print a 12-month income statement spanning more than 1 year. That's the real point of this one. Now, we have also made a lot of improvements behind the scenes on how the income statements and balance sheet and other things are being done. And this should make it going forward a lot easier for us to handle various departmental, multi-column things and things of that nature. But those changes are behind the scene, but they will make things easier for us and for you in the future. Couple of menu changes. Pretty much in order to kind of go with our offering the Accounting Power CAS, we've made the Client Center to only be the things that really deal with managing the clients as far as the workflow and things like that. So on the Client Center, you'll still see the snapshot, you'll still see the client notifications, and you'll still see the bill payment options. But we did move client management and email activity log both to the firm administration. So if you're looking for either of those two, that's where they are. Just as an aside, anytime we make a change like this, when you are loading the program initially, or anytime you change a client, when you come to the select client screen, if you look there, it should be listed as an enhancement so that you'll know that we've made these little changes. I know it's easy when you're going to a screen that you're always at, you don't even really bother to look and read what's there, but there's many times there's good information like that there for you. Okay, Now I'm going to get into a little bit on Accounting Power CAS. But before I do, I want to ask a little poll question. Because this deals with how many people this affects and how many it does not affect. So I'm wondering how many people have Power Practice instead of just Accounting Power alone, and how many people have Accounting Power alone. I'll let this stay up here for about a minute or so. Okay, so it looks to me that I think about 2/3 of the people who answered have the Power Practice system, and the Power Practice system means that you have you have the ability to have Accounting Power, after the fact payroll, Cloud Cabinet, Practice Relief, all in one thing. So in general, it is a good purchase decision, or at least according to me. But sometimes if all you're doing is a lot of write-up clients, it might be easier for you, or it might be better for you to just have Accounting Power Professional. So let me close the poll and let me get back into my webinar here. So now, first thing is we have a little chart here showing what you can have with Accounting Power CAS and what you have with Accounting Power Professional. And anyone who has Power Practice already has Accounting Power CAS. If you're just buying Accounting Power alone, then you don't have it. And when it comes time to renew, you can renew into the Accounting Power CAS or choose not to. And of course, we think you should, but that's a decision based upon your practice that you need to make. But what do you get extra by having the Accounting Power CAS? First of all, both systems let you have unlimited number of clients, unlimited number of staff. You can do write-up, you can do your trial balance, you can do your financial statement work, and you also get the bank feeds. But with Accounting Power CAS, you do have the ability to have certain workflow things there that you don't have with the Accounting Power Pro. You have the client notifications. I'm going to show these screens a little bit later. And you have the ability to add bookkeeping clients. If you have Accounting Power Pro, you cannot add bookkeeping clients. Now, you are grandfathered. Say that you have Accounting Power Professional and you have maybe 5 clients that you want to have bookkeeping, and you already have them in bookkeeping. You are grandfathered at this point to be able to use them. But you cannot add a new client for bookkeeping. Digital checks, if you want to pay bills by digital checks, you have to have the Accounting Power CAS to do that. Same thing with the receivables management with digital checks. You have to have the Accounting Power CAS. And if you want your clients to be able to write checks, into receipts, view the dashboard and stuff, you do have the ability on both of those to do it, except with Accounting Power Professional, it has to be a client who you already have bookkeeping for, and you've already given them those rights. In Accounting Power CAS, even for clients, which is a big enhancement, I feel, for some of your clients, even for clients you're just doing write-up work for, or you're not signing up for bookkeeping, You will have the ability for them to write checks, enter receipts, and also to view the dashboard if you want them to have it. So let me just show a few of the screens and how they can be used. This isn't really in this webinar, I'm not really going through like how to really use the bill payment screens or things of that nature. I will have that in a future one, and it is also in some of the recorded webinars. So first of all, before we even get to any of that, is you might wonder, what is client accounting services? And there's a lot of different definitions. So basically, the services that are offered for client accounting services vary, and Accounting Power gives you the ability to define what CAS is and how best to offer it based upon what your client's needs, abilities, and desires are. And here are what I found to be the three main categories. One is simply after the fact financial statement preparation. I think most all accountants are already offering client accounting services in this respect. This is like regular write-up. The client's already written their checks. A member of the CPA firm or the bookkeeping staff enters the data into the general ledger in order to produce the financial statement. Transaction processing. And this is where we've added the bill payment, which is very powerful, especially with the digital checks, to make it very easy to offer these kind of services to your clients. And this is where a CPA firm will issue invoices for a client. They take care of accounts payable. They cut the checks, or in our case, we want you to process electronic payments. They also process payrolls. They pay employees, payroll taxes, and much more. And that's what's under transaction processing. And finally is the CFO controller services. This really, it entails a higher level CPA, often a partner, meets with the client's management on a regular basis to review financial performance and provide input to strategies to improve the business. So what are the methods that can be used for offering these things? First of all, you got to have the right CFO tools, such as the client snapshot and our bill payment screen, the dashboard, and things like that. Ratios, they allow the accountant to look at all of his clients in a quick overview and determine things about them, and also to drill down further for particular clients and get more information. Of course, bank feeds and traditional write-up, as I mentioned, is a way to offer them. The bill payment, using a system like what we have, which is a very lean, quick, easy process, especially when added with the digital checks. The ability to give your clients permissions to do what you want them to do. So you can give permissions to clients to just do maybe writing checks or just entering invoices or whatever you feel the client has the capability and the desire to be doing. Very important point there is most clients don't want to be doing accounting work. So if you could take that away from them and do it in a way that saves them time and makes you more money and saves them money, both, that's a win-win for everyone. And with systems such as this, you're able to do that. And of course, the customizable financial statements and things like the alerts, which can be customizable based upon the clients. So first, I'm going to show the dashboard. This is great as a tool for a CFO or the accountant. You come here, you can see just the clients who have problems. Right now it's set up for clients with alerts, or you can select to see all of your clients. you can see a variety of financial information, which is up to date and real time for the clients. You can set up alerts so that some of them will be, you can set up alerts so that some of them will be in red, which tells you there's something wrong with that one. And the alerts can be set up specific for the client. So for this one, maybe a $400,000 accounts receivable is something that means the client should be looked into. They're letting their accounts receivables get too high. Whereas for this company down here, Transcon Trucking, they have over $1 million, and yet you feel for that company, that's a normal amount of accounts receivable to be holding. So the point I'm making is it's easy by going to the alert screen to customize it based upon that particular client's needs and circumstance. The streamlined workflow. Now, I'm not going to go into all the things, but this is an example of our bill payment services screen. And you can come here, you can see which clients have bills that are unprocessed. That means the client has entered a bill for you to process for them. And the way they do it is they take a picture of an invoice with their smartphone and they just upload it into the system and it's ready for the accountant to do it. If somebody's wondering, well, what are these 3 bills? You just click on it and it pops up a little window showing you exactly which ones need to be processed for that client. And you don't have to be on the client who's the active client. You could choose any of the clients here who have unprocessed bills, and it will give you that information. If you saw a client who you wanted to do the work for now, simply by clicking on the name, it would take you right into the expenses enter bill screen to do it. Very similar under bills to be approved, you can click and see which bills need to be approved. And as bills would be processed, you would see the number moving across. So if I went in and took care of the 3 bills to be processed, this would now say 0, and this would now say 11 here. So you can follow the workflow through to the end. And finally, bills to be paid, same kind of idea. You click there and see which ones need to be paid. And it's very easy to pay them electronically, like with the digital checks, which is not really what I'm going into too much on this webinar. The one final thing I want to show is the program access without the bookkeeping. So if you have Accounting Power CAS and you have some clients, you don't want to buy bookkeeping for them. You're not really keeping track of invoices and they're not invoicing people through the system, and you're not keeping track of payables by each vendor or receivables by each customer. You can still give those clients access to the program, which is completely new, but it's limited access. There's just a few things that they can do. And what you have the ability is you have the ability to allow them to write checks, to also enter cash receipts, and also to view the dashboard. So if a client, you're doing write-up work for him, or her, but they want to be able to come in and see basically what their financial situation is, they would be able to view the dashboard and see like their income for the last 12 months. And same thing, they would be able, if they wanted to write checks, they could write checks and they would be in there. Okay, so basically, that's what I wanted to show as far as the new features, and as far as the Accounting Power CAS versus Accounting Power Professional. And the thing to remember with Accounting Power CAS versus Professional is whatever you have now stays the same until it's time to renew. If you have Power Practice, You don't have to worry or make any decisions because it's already included for you. And if you just have Accounting Power Professional, you need to decide and maybe speak to somebody here also in sales and try to figure out how you could improve your practice by offering these features. So let's see if there's, I guess I'm going to finish on that, and I'm wondering if there's any questions. One is, the meeting ran over. Will this be archived? Yes, it should probably be up there in a day or two. I do have to say though, this is the first time I use where it's recorded automatically when you start it. So I'm trusting that it has been recorded, but that's a new feature in GoToWebinar. Although I do see that it says this system is being recorded. Can you set up multiple users per client for the access without bookkeeping? Yes, you can. So you could have, on a client, they could have access to, you could give access to all three things, but maybe just one of their staff, they want to be able to write checks, whereas the other one, they want them to be able to write checks and view the dashboard. So you can set up multiple users and with multiple levels. The fees. Now for Accounting Power, Power Practice, the fee is the same, although I believe it's $100 more. I'm not always the number one source for the pricing, but the difference between Accounting Power Professional and Accounting Power CAS is, I believe it's $16.95 for Accounting Power CAS. And the fees for bookkeeping have remained the same. Any client that you sign up for bookkeeping is $20 for the client per month, except in the very first year where if you signed up for the unlimited. Somebody here says new client access. They like it. Awesome. How do you tell which system you have now? If you know that you have Power Practice, let's see if I have a client I can bring over here to show this to. I don't have the billing screen on this, but if you have Power Practice, then you have it automatically. And one more thing, as long as I'm on this page that I want to show, is that we have a new arrangement for with Biz New Credit. So a lot of people, they have small business clients, and some small businesses, it's difficult to be getting loans. So we have a special arrangement here with Biz to Credit. You can simply click on it there. It'll open up. It'll give you some information about it. There's emails that you can send from within the system to your clients. And we're also planning on having some webinars about this in the upcoming future. Just one second. I'm going to open up an email with the pricing so you can see the various things. Is the $20 on top of the annual fee in the second year? Yes, it is. And that was all of the questions there. Just one second. So the fee for the Accounting Power CAS is $16.95 or $170 per month. And the fee for Accounting Power Pro is $11.95 or $120 per month. I guess that's it for now. As always, I appreciate the time you gave me to show you the program and show you the changes. If you have any questions or any comments, my email is dmunnell@accountantsworld.com and send it to me. Any comments also about what you would like to see in the future in a webinar, or what enhancements you would like to see in the program. Oh, there is one other thing that I do want to show. Just one second. When I'm mentioning enhancements, when you're in the system, if you go to support, you're able to, the same place that you would do a support request, you're able to put a suggestion in here. So what you do, instead of doing e-support, you just simply click on suggestion and you say whatever it might be. I would like to see this, and give a good description. And I can tell you, I mean, it's not that we always do the suggestions, but I guarantee we look at them all and read them all. You also have the ability, just to point out when you're on this screen, to go also to the user forum. So, but these go directly into our system so that they're in there, they're never lost. When it's, you may tell a support person on the phone, I would like to see this. And usually it will make it to me or to whoever needs to be seeing it. But this way, it's getting in there. Depreciation. When will you add this? I don't know that it's in our plans to be adding depreciation. We used to have fixed asset relief several years ago, but as of now, we do not have a plan to be adding any depreciation module. Okay, thank you very much. Once again, thank you. I appreciate your time, and I hope you enjoyed this and got some important information out of it. Goodbye. Now.